Real goal setting. Real goal setting is this. You do set a goal, maybe to be, I want to wrestle in college. I want to be a state champ. I want to be a youth state champ. So that's a big goal. Now, building block goals are the little stuff. So the goal is the top of the tower. The building blocks are the steps. You know, you go up one flight of stairs. Every flight of stairs is a building block. And then before you know it, you look down and you're like, holy cow, I'm at the top of the tower. I did it. So building block goals might be this. One of the main ones we talk about is I don't talk at practice. Is that a goal? Yes, that's a goal. That's a habit. That's a building block goal. Number 2, I want to hold position. We call it world-class wrestling stance. World-class wrestling stance. Most people wrestle in a basketball stance. We want to be in a world-class wrestling stance. That's a building block goal. You might even have people helping you. I know when we were kids, my brother would say, hey, make sure my stance is down. And I would yell, touch the mat. You know, and even when he wrestled in the world championships, he touched the mat when he was out there. And, you know, you think that you would have a great stance by the time you wrestle in the world championships. But some of us have weaknesses that constantly rear their ugly heads. So sometimes you might have a coach say, hey, coach, remind me about this. You know, that's good. That's the reason we have coaches. You know, the top athletes in the world have coaches who remind them of things that, you know, these little weaknesses. Their teammate doesn't have that weakness. But for me, I always screw this thing up at this part. Maybe it's my wrestling stance, you know. Maybe I forget to take deep breaths when I go out of bounds. You know, we had a guy in college, a teammate of mine was an NCAA runner-up, and his dad and coaches always said, hey, breathe out there. Every time he went out of bounds, take a deep breath. Todd Chesbro, his dad was one of the greatest Oklahoma State coaches ever. One of the coolest men I've ever been around too. But I remember them yelling that to Todd all the time, and that was why he would get tight and he would just kind of forget to breathe, and he would take short, choppy breaths, and they reminded him, you know. So you know, that might be a goal. Make sure I breathe deep every time I go out of bounds. Maybe getting to the middle first is a goal for you. I know a guy, he has a list. They call it wins to the middle, and so. That's the stat. And the statistician girl in the high school, and every time they go out of bounds, they're supposed to be the first one back on the line. And they keep track of wins to the middle, and they give awards for it. And that's important to him as a coach. And I think it is a good option, too, as far as a goal, because a lot of us, especially if you're a negative thinker, what happens is when you go out of bounds and you come back to the middle and you take your time, some of us think about how tired their legs are. They think about how much time's left on the clock. They think about, you know, how good their opponent is. You know, if you go out of bounds and you get a little break in the action, and you're thinking about how awesome you are, how strong you are, how you're going to score again, how this guy's getting tired, how you're going to put him on his back, you know, how explosive you feel, then sure, you might not care about getting to the middle fast. I mean, I probably wouldn't either. But wins to the middle is a good way to keep kids from thinking and just staying in the match, staying focused, you know. So that might be a goal. A building block goal might be, we do this a lot. We say, pick kids in practice and set goals for them. We have 3 practice partners. Again, I talk about this a lot of times. Everything with us is a system. There's a way to get better. There's a way for everything. You know, so there's 3 partners you grab. You grab someone you can pound on, you grab someone who's even, and you grab someone who can beat you. Even if I have to get kids older and bigger, I'll do it. So what we do is, the kids I can pound on, I force my leg riding. I might be working on my low single leg. I might be trying to score from my elbow control. You know, I might be working on my wrist pick. You know, we have 7 ways to break your opponent's stance. Push, pull, hit, pick, post, pass, and fake. 7 ways. So your setups come from those, or a combination. We have combos in our elite room and in our 14-day dream season wrestling camp. You know, we might pick, pull, and score. I might push, pass, score. I might fake, head snap, score. So we put some of our setups together in combos, you know. But that might be something that you do whenever you pick a partner you can beat on. Then you get a partner you're even with, and then your goal is, okay, within 2 months, I want to be beating him by 8 points. That's a goal. I have it written down. And every Wednesday when I go to practice, I grab Jonathan, because We've been even, and I've got 2 months to beat him by 8 points. Then I get the kids who can beat the crap out of me, and my goal is within 1 month to go a 4-point match with them or 5-point match with them, you know, or all practice for the. I will not get turned by him. Another goal we like to set is get 3 takedowns in a row. If I can take someone down 3 times in a row, I own them. So I think one of the best things that you can do in wrestling is to make everything a competition. Don't just wrestle live for 20 minutes. You know, you set little goals. Your coaches probably aren't going to do it. But if I'm wrestling, Sam, I'm trying to take him down 3 times in a row. And this might not be the kid, that can beat on you. But maybe 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks, a month from now, when you're having a closer match with this kid who used to beat the tar out of you, now you can say, I can take him down a couple times of practice. I'm getting better. Now I want to take him down 2 times in a row. That's my goal. And when I do that, next week I'm taking them down 3 times in a row. These are building block goals that include individuals. Because what happens is, if Sam's better than me and I can't beat Sam, once I get, even if by the end of the year I'm losing to him by 1 point, I passed up 2,000 kids in America. I passed up a lot of kids in the state. Now I'm top 3 in the state when I was not even going to qualify 5 months ago. So using your workout partners is key. And that's a building block goal is to keep track of kids that you want to beat and make sure they're in practice. Because if your goal is to beat some kid from Oklahoma, you only get to wrestle him once a year, or your goal is to be the state champs 9 months from now. I got to wait 9 months. That couch gets pretty comfortable sometimes. It's easy when that goal is 9 months away to get distracted. But if it's Monday and I get a chance to wrestle Jonathan and I'm beating him by 7 points and I want to beat him by 8 points tonight, that's going to get me off the couch. So these are building block goals. A building block goal may be to never miss the weight room. For the next 3 months, I'm lifting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The football coach is opening the room for me. And, I always shake his hand and thank him for opening the room for me. And that's a good habit. After our practices, our kids all line up and shake my hand. And I always thank them for coming. They thank me for having practice. It's awesome. So always thank these coaches' hands, even if they're from other sports and they're opening the room for the football team. If they let you in there, you need to tell them thank you. But your goal might be not to miss 1 weight room in 3 months. That's a building block goal. That's a goal that you have. You can't tell me that's not going to help you to be to the top of the tower 9 months from now, because it will. Even if you're sick, you have your mom drive you to the weight room or you drive to the weight room. You get out, you stand in the parking lot, you slam the door, then you jump back in the car and you go home and go to bed because you're sick. We don't want to be around other people when we're sick. That's not fair to them. But I didn't miss the weight room that day. So these building block goals, you can make up anything you want. It can be a technique thing. It can be, my goal is to be able to leg ride so-and-so, for 2 minutes straight, and to do that 3 or 4 times in practice. It can be a number of things, whether it's a weight room. It might be to lift a certain amount of weight. A building block goal might be able to do stance, motion, fake, circle, sprawl. You might be able to do that for 10 minutes straight. You try doing that for 10 minutes straight and tell me that your legs don't fry. Take your running shoes and throw them in the trash. You don't need running shoes. You're a wrestler. Running is stupid. Maybe a few sprints late in the season. Running sprints up a hill or bleachers is good late in the season, but the other 98% of the year you shouldn't be running. And if you go run 3 miles, anybody can do that. You get down in a wrestling stance and you go 3 or 4 3-minute goes where you're circling, you're faking left, fake right, sprawl, fake, circle left, sprawl, hit a penetration step, down block, sprawl. You're doing that for 3 minutes. You do 9 to 12 minutes of that, and you get to where you can do that for 10 minutes straight. You'll be able to run a 5-minute mile, and you can do that in your carpet on your bedroom floor. So that might be a building block goal, to say I want to be able to do stance and motion with some good, like you're skating on ice. Some people are great wrestlers, but they don't move very well. They're awkward, I can do a round off and 2 back handsprings, but I can't do it on a balance beam. The balance beam is the issue. I might have good skills with the hockey stick, but I can't do it when I'm on skates. So same way with wrestling. I might be able to drill from a stationary position, but I can't move and fake and and execute. I don't move on the mat with any fluidity. So that's my weakness. So one of my building block goals is 3 nights a week for 5 or 6 minutes straight before bed, or when I get up in the morning, or immediately after school, to go in the basement and do my stance and motion drills. And maybe one of my building block goals is within 6 weeks to be able to do that for 10 minutes straight. And then my building block goal is to do it for 10 minutes straight twice a week. I'm just throwing some things out there. But building block goals are vital, and they're going to lead to that ultimate goal. So, I think about that. It's there. It's written down. But my building block goals are written down too. And those take place 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week. One building block goal might be to read 5 books on success. Maybe an autobiography of someone. Maybe your building block goal is to watch 50 interviews on YouTube or Flow Wrestling of famous college coaches and famous wrestlers. You can't tell me you can't learn from listening to an interview that Jake Varner or John Smith gives. You can. The NCAA champions from last year, they give interviews. Find those. That might be a building block goal, to listen to 100 of those in the next month. And you might take a pen and paper and write down the ones that really felt like they were helpful, and now those might be things that you revisit on occasion. Those might help motivate you. So a lot of it can be an educational goal. It might be to go to a wrestling camp or something. I don't know. Building block goals are the key, and something we talk about quite a bit